Hi, I'm Will from Tested. We are here in Seattle, Washington, and I'm talking to Scott Heimendinger of Modernist Cuisine and SeattleFoodGeek, a man of many talents, many of food related. You have something really cool to show us today.
Yes.
It's close to my heart because I love making pizza at home, and getting an oven that gets hot enough and holds that temperature is pretty tricky.
Yes, so one of the goals I set for myself this summer was to try to learn to make perfect pizzas at home. And an important part of making perfect pizza is a right type of oven. Something that's hot enough, something that has even heat, that'll hold the heat so that you can make pizzas in Neapolitan style, which mandates 2 minutes or less cooking time.
Oh, that is not a lot of cooking time for a piece of dough and some cheese and meat. And the other thing that's important is top and bottom heat, right?
Yes.
So both from the bottom crust up and to heat the cheese and melt that and get everything nice and crisp and tasty.
Yep, otherwise your crust will be burned before the cheese is melted.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So what have you done here?
So here's what I've done. I have a standard charbroil grill that I have modified with a pair of steel plates. You can see on this side, I've got 2 stainless steel plates. They're 1/4 inch thick each.
So there's a lot of mass.
A lot of mass. They each weigh 25 pounds. They're ridiculously heavy. And then I've got them separated with a 5-inch steel pipe that I'm just using as a spacer. Now I've got heat directly under the steel plate, and I've also added charcoal to one side of the oven just to get it even hotter. And then you can see to the right, I've got a fan that's a barbecue fan. It's meant to work in this kind of heat. So that'll do 2 things. One is it'll circulate the air inside the grill.
So
I've
no
got
hot and cold spots.
Exactly. And the second is it's gonna pass more air over the charcoal, which means charcoal's gonna burn faster and hotter.
Ah, very good. So let's put the pizza in, and then I want to talk a little about your dough, because you've got
Great.
something pretty cool there too.
Yes.
Good, Joey? Time to take the pizza out?
Yep.
That looks good. That is incredible on the grill.
Yep.
Did you do anything to, so let's talk a little bit about what you've done on the equipment side. We talked about the plate. You have a charcoal bed in the grill that's kind of unusual. I don't have that in my grill. Is that something you can retrofit to anyone's grill, or is it?
Yeah, just about. You could even put the charcoal in a metal, cooking thing, a pan.
Like a roasting pan with some oil or something in it?
Perfect, yeah, that will totally work. You just want to add extra heat, because charcoal gives off a ton of heat and burns a lot hotter than the natural gas does.
And then seal any kind of, as much air leakage as you can on the grill in general.
Yeah, grills are notoriously leaky when it comes to keeping the air in. So as much as you can seal off the back vent safely, I'd suggest doing that.
Cool, and the last step is your fan. We talked about it a little bit.
This is commercially available. It's called a Turbo Q is the name of this one. And you can find it wherever grilling accessories are sold.
Powered, so you don't even have to run wire out here. That's fantastic. Okay, so we have a pizza in here. Let's talk a little bit about ingredients while we let it cool off.
Sure.
So we don't burn our mouths.
Absolutely.
Well, first off, the cheese is not necessarily your normal cheese.
No, so we've got 3 types of cheese in here, and they're all homemade to some extent. I made a ricotta that's made in the standard way you normally make it, with lemon juice and salt.
Heating it to the right temperature. And
exactly.
Normal. Yes.
And it separates wonderfully. I made another cheese with raw milk using rennet to separate it, so you get a different kind of milk curd, which is cool.
Okay.
And then the third cheese is manchego, which I store-bought.
Delicious.
A wonderfully delicious cheese, but it's a very dry cheese that's not particularly melty. So I use this trick that we have in Modernist Cuisine and in Modernist Cuisine at home, where you add a little bit of liquid and sodium citrate, which is an emulsifying salt, and that gives the cheese the melting characteristics of Velveeta.
That's fantastic. I can't wait to try this. The other thing that you changed is the dough.
The dough. So this is a special dough recipe. I used the dough from Modernist Cuisine at home as my starting point.
Coming this October.
And one of the keys to that dough is that we actually add additional gluten to the dough. So we add vital wheat gluten, which helps give the dough just the right amount of chewiness.
It gives it chewy and toothsomeness, right?
Now, for my personal preference, I like really fluffy crust at the top.
Like a poof. New Yorkers are weeping everywhere.
Yes. Now, it still has to be crispy on the bottom, but I like a lot of rise in my crust. So I added encapsulated leavener, which is basically baking soda that at a microscopic level is coated in gelatin. So it
little balls of baking soda.
Yes.
That's crazy.
And the cool thing is, only when it gets hot enough does the gelatin melt away and does the baking soda react.
Oh, so when you mix it with the water and you're stirring it all up and you're letting it rise, the baking soda is still locked in.
Yep, totally dormant.
And when you heat it up, you get a giant poof.
Poof.
DiGiorno.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Well, shall we try
Let's
it?
try this out.
Okay, so we'll transfer it off. Now, there is exactly one way to cut pizza.
This is obscene.
And it's with scissors.
I don't know how I feel about this, Scott.
This is how it must be done.
You're saying this is science's way of cutting pizza?
Exactly.
Beautiful. Thank you, sir.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, it's incredibly hot. Wow, that was really burning.
A crust that will hold its own weight.
That is fantastic.
And a nice rise. You can see all the giant air pockets in the side here. It's a combination of the yeast and the encapsulated leavener together.
So one does the early proof while you're in the fridge, and then the other comes on right as soon as you put it on the grill.
And the yeast is also important because it adds a lot of flavor to the dough. So if you did this without yeast, it'd be a much blander dough.
That is absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, Scott.
My pleasure.
And of course, Modernist Cuisine at Home is coming out later this year, October, right?
Drops October 8th.
And it's a lot less expensive than the previous version. So if you've been thinking maybe you wanted to try it, but didn't want to shell out $500, it's a way to take this home and try stuff like this.
Now is the time. Pre-order now.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Elbow Shake, for the close. We'll be back with more from Tested. I will.